freaking out. I'm freaking out.
I walk into the party, my name is at the door. I get myself a drink, as I make it to the floor. I walk into the party, get my name at the door. But they want more, it's me, do you wanna take a picture of me?
This week was the most chaotic week as far as guild structure goes as we've seen in a long time.
The entire raid is just like in disarray. Like Chick left, Prack left, and Semi left. And that hopefully isn't the beginning of a trend. 3 on the same day, just whoosh, see ya. If everyone else starts to think, oh, maybe I should leave too, maybe it's over. And it's not over. This has happened 5 other times at least in guild history.
Our raid leader, Semi, decided that he was done with the game.
For now, he'll come back.
This decision was primarily motivated by the fact that he got a job that didn't directly interfere with raid times, but he was having a hard time working and raiding and getting enough sleep to be able to properly work and raid.
The real-life boss claims yet another.
Therefore, Semi stepped down as a raid leader. And luckily, he informed us a couple weeks ahead, so we had a good idea of who we wanted to replace him. But a lot of people were panicking.
Semi, in my opinion, is a good raider, a great raider.
So we lost the raid leader and one of our top melee DPS. One of them.
Like, losing Semi is painful, right? He's a large figurehead for our raid. He leads a lot of raiding things. He's a personality that we will all miss, and he's like super high DPS.
He was 2 things I hate, or at least like to act like I hate because it's funny. Number 1, he was a fucking Canadian. Number 2, he was a fucking Death Knight. But his ability to play Death Knight was great. His knowledge of the game was great. He was a pretty damn solid raid leader. And I definitely appreciate that he stepped up to that job when we kind of had a vacuum in Throne of Thunder. In conclusion, though, fuck Canada and fuck Death Knights.
So, in a span of 2 days, we lost 3 incredible players, one of which was an officer and the raid leader.
So, things were in a bit of chaos.
Who's ready to kill this boss?
Shut up, Rig.
Oh god, Rig.
Dude,
Rig?
that actually sounded like Rig for a second.
He's really good at that voice.
He's not good at his death knife, though. It's a shame.
Just like Rig, so you know, it's all good.
Alright, we'll see, Maraza.
So, the first question we had to tackle going into this raid week was, who would succeed Semi as raid leader?
Luckily, Cess, who you may know from way back in the past, Sessuge, one of our old warlocks, who is now a warrior tank, came back to the guild a couple weeks ago.
Now, Cess was a member of Big Grits back in the Cataclysm days. I think he joined around T11, and he stayed with us through Dragon Soul progression. But he decided to leave us in like mid-late Dragon Soul farm for a slightly more hardcore guild, Duality. But then Duality went from a slightly more hardcore guild to a significantly more hardcore guild. So he decided that maybe he wanted to come back to Big Crits. And so he actually just came back like a couple of weeks ago. So he was still technically an initiate, but I mean, you know, he was a known quantity. We knew him. He was okay with taking the responsibility, and we were okay with giving to him.
The raid leading initiate. That works well. It actually does work really well. Cess has done really well raid leading this first week so far.
You know, unlike the last time we fast tracked someone to that sort of position. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this was the last episode of Season 3. We're pretty sure that Cess is the original owner of his account. So, no worries there!
Probably 75-80% of our current raid team were not around when Cess left the guild. So they don't know his skill. They don't know really his leadership skills. They don't know how it's going to work out. They're worried. They're thinking, maybe there's someone better. Maybe Rash could come back and do it or whatever. And so they were worried about our choice.
I wanted Rash to be the real leader at the start. Like, I was really hoping that he would take over.
Most of you probably remember Rash as the guy who was raid leader for the first part of Tier 14, up until Will of the Emperor, where he just got super pissed, snapped, and rage quit in the middle of a pull. And I just got, like, hyper fucking pissed at him.
He's a mean fuck, but he tell how it is, and I think that's what we needed. Like, we need somebody who is going to really step up and tell people how it is, and put a sense of urgency on people.
But, I mean, really, in all honesty, I do like Rash most of the time. It's just, I didn't feel like it was the right call to give him that job again.
1 week later, we're getting nothing but praise for his leadership skills.
You know, Cess hadn't done any of the fights hardly, and so he came in raid leading, and I mean, you could tell he cared. He sounded like he was trying to research, do his homework, and get things ready. But I mean, he doesn't mess around, and I'm excited to raid for Cess.
Cess is pretty fucking good, man. Yeah, I really like it.
He's doing great. He's doing an amazing job as a raid leader, getting everyone focused, getting the pulls going fast. He's definitely not afraid to bench people who are underperforming.
He fucking knows what he's doing. He's amazing. He's a good tank. He's a good player. Like, I really like it. Like it a lot. Like, I'm really happy the way things turn out. I think they made a really good decision.
Wait, Junie, aren't you Asian?
A little bit.
Asians can't grow beards.
I don't know if you guys can tell or not. You'll have to see.
Like, Rev doesn't have a beard.
That's
Wish
right.
you did.
So, we give Cess the job of raid leader at the beginning of the raid week. And he takes charge and does a fucking bang-up job, and meanwhile the rest of the raid also pulls our heads out of our collective asses and actually plows through the first half of the goddamn instance on Heroic.
It's either from a new raid lead, or everyone was just so pissed at last week, or both.
Like I thought, and I even predicted in last episode, I said, I bet you that we will go in and clear everything on the first night, maybe even Malkorok, and if not, kill Malkorok within the first hour to 2 hours of the second day. And that's exactly what we did. And that's because of the leadership change, and it's because of some people that we lost. You know, I think it was just a much better atmosphere. We didn't have negativity, and we had a raid leader who was just pushing us forward, saying, do this, do this, do that, nice job, don't die to this, clear this, keep it up, we made progress. And he just keeps you going forward. If you fail, if you don't make progress, then he says there's a group 6 and 2 people in group 7, and they are more than willing to come in for you. And then people get sat, and it's amazing.
Last week, if you may remember, it took us 2 entire nights to get there, to get to where we did.
By the end of Tuesday, we're at the same place we were last week at the end of fucking Wednesday.
So anyway, we do that. Amazing. Great. Alright, we don't know. Alright, good, but we haven't killed Malkorok yet. We really need to kill him because we didn't get to kill him last week because we ran out of time due to the shitty clear time.
We just had a little bit more organization in the way that we set up for Malkorok, and just better cooldown uses. I mean, we just came in more prepared.
We had some pulls on Tuesday that weren't so great. So Cess decided to assign people very specific spots So if somewhere failed, we knew exactly who was at fault. And it was either assigning people spots or knowing that there's no way to hide that you fucked up, that people didn't screw up. So we managed to get killed with enough time to get some pulls on spoils.
I would have decided to become a different animal and not a chick this time.
You should have been like
bear,
Moo
bear,
Moo
bear, or,
or Moo Moo Moo.
Dick, dick, dick.
I would have
or-
been turkey, turkey, turkey.
What's under the narwhal? I would go blub blub blub.
I love Susie's remix.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
We go in there on Thursday and keep working at it. We get the first room down. We get that in time. We move in the second room. We run out of time. We pull for about 3 hours on Thursday, I think.
Should have done better. I'm not going to say that we should have killed it because we weren't doing very well, but we should have done a lot better than we did.
Very, very rare occurrence. I was late to raid due to another commitment. So I get invited to raid while people are working on heroic spoils. Who's there? In Group 1, helping out on spoils progression. Maybe like a month or two after he decided he was done. That's right! Motherfucking Tact! Yeah!
Oh yeah, Tact came back temporarily to raid because we didn't have anybody on Thursday for spoils.
You may remember him as that sexy Canadian with the hairy chest and long hair.
So Tact comes in, full tier, almost behind in gear, and does really well being thrown straight into heroic spoils. Maybe he'll come back permanently. We can only hope. We miss you, Tact.
Man, good thing you're not getting your masters in loot council.
Alright, listen up.
There we go. Now let me do it. Yeah,
There's
loot
no
council
wreck,
for
you're
some
the
reason
man.
is broken for me.
I think he figured it out, guys.
Tact wasn't the only one who came back this week, too. Chick, who had just decided he was done with big crits and wanted to move on to another guild that was a little better progression, not even a week earlier, comes back into the guild, into the raid, on that fucking Thursday.
So Chick leaves on Saturday, goes over to another guild, and realizes immediately, oh shit, this is a big mistake. After talking to a few people in Mumble, mostly Tact, he decides to come back over.
That tends to happen a lot in this guild. We just have this mysterious power to draw people back when they leave for greener pastures or real life.
But the thing about Big Cracks, we're a big family, man. Like, everybody, you know how you have your brother and your sister, and you always have a problem with them, but you still love them at the same time? It's just like here. Like, even though we get upset with each other during raid, and we call them dickholes, not the good shit, we still want to be here, and we still enjoy playing with each other, and we have fun. We like to enjoy ourselves, and we do shit outside raid, and we always hanging out on Mumble. So, you gonna leave? Yeah, please, get the fuck out, but you're gonna come back, because there's no better place to be.
Like, I think it was 2 years ago now, I changed the guild info tab to say, don't forget, you're here forever. I was not fucking joking with that.